Yo, what's up? Looking at this nice jazz ballad here, Dance Only With Me, originally composed by Jule, Styne, I think, and I've used Blossom Dearie's recording for reference. So this song, for the most part, follows pretty common jazz chord progressions, though there are some spicy movements and stuff. But what caught my ear on this song were the chord voicings and extensions. So I'll just kind of run through the song and we'll comment on stuff along the way. So we're in the key of B flat and we start with a 2-5-1-6. Our C minor 7 voicing is pretty straightforward, and in the recording our bass hits the root and then we have a middle impact piano voicing. So onto this F13, we get this 3rd, 13th, and 9th, and this is a really good example of using extensions in a tasteful way, right? So instead of this, we tone it down and get a more mellow sound. And then those chord tones, though, are still important, so we hit them in our middle voice. So now onto our B flat major 1 chord. Something cool on this song that I'm really a lot more conscious of now is instead of voicing single notes by themselves, so instead of doing this, you can voice them with the rest of the chord tones. And that brings us to our 6th chord, a G minor 7. So now we 2-5-1, so C minor 7. And now onto our 5 chord, so this F. We got some nice movement here that's only really possible in slow ballads. So we hit our F9, then we hit our natural 11 on top, but to keep this from sounding too static, we hit the 5th of our root, and then we hit our flat 9 and go back to our root. And then you'll see that this flat 9 and flat 7, a half step down, resolve to our B flat. Okay, so onto some spice here. Okay, so this whole section, I keep the Roman numerals relative in B flat, but in reality there are some funky key changes here. So the first 3 chords I like to think of as a 2-7-6 in F major, with our 6 being major instead of minor. The melodic bass really sells this progression to me. So we start with this G minor 7, then an E minor 7 flat 5, and then instead of a D minor here, we play a D major. So after this D major, we hit a B minor 7. And this chord's really important because it acts like a bridge between what happened before and what's coming after. So the B minor is the 6th chord of D, but also the 4 chord of F sharp. And you can see we have an F sharp minor 2-5-1 right after this, which is just a G half diminished, a C dominant, though with a sharp 5 here, and then an F sharp. And now you might notice this F sharp is exactly 1 half step up from that F we had originally. So those 8 bars are kind of like a masterclass in like modal interchange and smooth voice leading. The first 2 bars are in D minor, then we hit a D major, then we play this B minor 7 that bridges D major to F sharp minor. So now we play an F sharp minor 2-5-1, which sets up a nice half step resolution back to our F. Okay, so these next 16 bars are basically just 4 2-5-1-6s. It might not seem clear now, but let me show you. So the first 6 bars are pretty self-explanatory up to that D7 sharp 11. So I like to think of this 3 dominant and 6 dominant just as, well, I mean, dominant versions of 1 and 6. They create tension without changing the fundamental progression. So check this out. Here's a 2-5-1-6 in B flat with just the diatonic voices. So C minor 7, then F7, then B flat, and then G minor. And then here it is with that 3 dominant and 6 dominant. So C minor 7, F7, D7, and then G7. And you can really hear that extra tension and release that those chord subs provide. So yeah, now we're back to this 2, albeit with this weird voicing. But it makes sense just because you see that all these notes are a chromatic note above our next chord. And from here, we just do another 1/6 substitution just like before, except this time the 3 is half diminished. So instead of something like this, we have this. And we finish with the 2-5-1. So we play the C minor with some weird flat 13 stuff going on. And then we hit our 5 chord. Some chromaticism here, just like before, and then resolve to 1.